Escarabajo. Temazo. La consulta del doctor Escarabajo, dígame.
La consulta del doctor Escarabajo.
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 The Hepburns has been together for 35 years. I've been incredibly happy to be a part of the band. Although oddly, I wouldn't see it as a career. I mean, to me, a career is something that is like a job, and something as well, perhaps that you'd expect to make some money out of. Although we've never made money and we've never really been that well known or famous as a band, that's not how I measure success. And the way I measure success is in terms of how good I think the work has been, and I think the work has been amazing. It sounds very vain of me, doesn't it? But it's the contributions of everybody in the band during whatever period which has brought me the greatest pleasure, and I think that together we've made some great records. But as well as the quality of the work, I also think that it's, you've got to have fun doing it and enjoy each other's company and each other's contributions, and we really have done that. So yes, on those terms, in terms of the quality of what we've done and how much I've enjoyed it, it's been fantastic. But I still wouldn't call it a career though. Maybe I'm being picky, but to me it's certainly been a fantastic experience. What do I think is different in our new album, Architecture of the Ages? Well, firstly, the contribution from Stella, or Estella Rosa, has been incredible. Being able to work with her, to write songs together with her, and for her contribution, in the vocals, in the lead vocals and in the harmonies, has been fantastic. It's really lifted the music and given it a different quality. I think it's enhanced what we used to do, and it's highlighted certain aspects, like the vocal harmonies, our roots in the 60s are maybe more obvious. All the things about the band which were good, the references to Burt Bacharach, to 60s music, etc., and perhaps what they call sunshine pop as well, that aspect of it. The bits of the free design in there and 60s vocals groups. Of course, Stella's contribution has brought all that out and enhanced it and taken it to the next level. There are other things too about the album which I think it's a progression for us from previous work, not simply because of Stella's contribution, but this is the first, or one of the first albums, the first album that we've released anyway, that has I've been able to record it myself at home on my iPhone using GarageBand. It's given me a huge boost creatively. I can record whenever I want to, and I can add loads of different instruments. So it's really helped me as a writer and as an arranger, to be able to be more creative. It's been incredible, really. The freedom that's given me and the boost it's given to my writing. So both those things. Most importantly, though, definitely Stella's contribution. And I think it's the best album we've ever done, and certainly the best album we've done since The Magic of the Hepburns years and years ago. Quite a big claim, but I stand by it. We got together with Estella and she reviewed our last album. It was a self-release called Electric Land, and she really loved the album. She did a great review of it. And then after that, we did a joint interview together where she talked to me about the band, and I talked to her about her musical projects, her band NAR, and also her project Sapphire and Steel, and about her work in general with music and with indie music, and her blogs and a label and so on. So it was that's how we met up. And at the end of that that kind of joint interview I talked about, we just basically decided on the spot that we would work on a duet together, and that duet then turned into an entire album. So that's how we met, and that's when the idea of recording together came up. My expectations with Architecture of the Ages are much higher than usual, given that it's been released on fantastic Elephant Records. That certainly increases your expectations. But what are the nature of those expectations is a more difficult question to answer. This comes back to my answer regarding a career. For me, I want an album to be an artistic success, and I want to have fun doing it. And in that respect, my expectations have already been satisfied. But beyond that, I would love to reach more people, for more people to be able to hear our music. And being with Elephant, I expect that will be the case, and has been the case since the release of the album. And yes, to reach a wider audience, and maybe to take some more steps with things such as like live work, for instance. Perhaps we can. It'd be great to tour and to be able to perform live, and not just to reach people through the album, but maybe to go out and do a few more gigs as well. We'd love to do that. We love live work. So those are my expectations. Just really to reach more people, and for more people to get to know about us.
5 miles of line in a rain of sunshine. 5 miles of line.
A live concert of the Hepburns is a little different from the records. I know live gigs tend to be, but we put a lot into our performances. They're pretty lively and quite in the moment as well. It's not as if we do long improvised solos, nothing of the sort, but we certainly put our hearts and souls into it and throw ourselves into it. So maybe it's a bit more raucous perhaps than you'd expect seeing having heard these very lush and smooth and I think quite beautiful albums. So yeah, but we do love playing live. We haven't over the years played that many gigs. We most notably we did a tour of America back in 2007. That was amazing. We toured West Coast and then East Coast of America. It was brilliant. And I think that was one of the occasions when we kind of met our full potential and we played regularly. And then when to Scandinavia continued the tour, although that was just me playing Hepburns tunes and accompanied by my friend Anthony Rochester, and I returned the favour and accompanied him. But yeah, live concert at Hepburns is, I love playing them, and I'm sure that anybody listening to this interview who's tempted to come and see us wouldn't be disappointed. They are really enjoyable events, and you'd see the other side of the Hepburns.
In the rain or sunshine, 5 miles of line in the rain or sunshine.
And we would love to come to Spain and the rest of Europe as soon as we can. Obviously, the pandemic is a bit of a problem right now. A bit of a problem is an understatement, but yeah, believe you me, I mean, it's something that we would absolutely love to do. We would jump at the chance, depending on what the circumstances were, of course. But as I mentioned, we played America. That was quite some time ago. It was over 10 years ago now, but we loved that experience. But we've never been to Spain. we did play in Scandinavia, but I said that was just me and Anthony Rochester, not the full band. But yeah, a visit to Spain or other parts of Europe would be fantastic and something that we'd really love to do. So that would be brilliant. But right now we have no dates. But it's something that we'd definitely like to talk about and to do sometime in the future, the not too distant future.
In the rain of sunshine, 5 miles of light. In the rain of sunshine, in the rain of sunshine.
I think one of the best things about being in Hepburns right now is about the international connections within the band. And firstly, the connection we've made with Stella, who is from Holland. If you think about this, years ago, before the internet, we would have only really been able to work with people from our own town, or maybe if we were, possibly, I don't know, maybe from a city like Cardiff, but it would be, it would be fairly local. These days, of course, there's all sorts of new possibilities, and that's made things so much better for us. So firstly, Stella, and then working with 2 Norwegian brothers, Jørn and Ole, who I co-wrote Lockdown to Liverpool. They wrote the music and the song itself, and I contributed some lyrics to that. But there was that. There was our connection with America, because prior to Elephant, which of course is a Spanish label, we were with Radio Khartoum, run by Alexander Bailey out of Berkeley in California. As I said, we toured America, and we were on that label, releasing on that label for the best part of 20 years. And also our connections with Scandinavia, and with Sweden, with bands like Testbild, for instance, with Remington Super 60 in Norway. And also with other artists for Radio Khartoum, and especially Anthony Rochester down in Tasmania. I think the Hepburns, the experience of being in the band has been hugely enriched by our connections internationally, and I'm very, very proud of that. Very proud of that indeed. We're not that well known in this country, but we've always got on really well in other countries, including America. But I think especially in places like Scandinavia, Germany, and Spain, of course. So those connections for us, it's if in terms of an international music scene, I think that's at the very heart of what the Hepburns do. I don't think the world will be the same again after this pandemic. I don't think we'll ever return to the way things were before. But I don't think that the long-term effects are all going to be bad ones. There are quite obvious bad things that have come out with this pandemic. You can't say that, generally speaking, that it has been in any way a good thing. That would be ridiculous. But maybe some of the changes in attitudes, will in the long term be good. I think myself personally, I've learned to value a lot of things during this time. I always did value friendship, but I realise now just how important friends are to me, even more than I did before. Certainly, I live on my own, so my friends have been incredibly important to me. It would have been pretty grim otherwise, even grimmer than it was. But I think there's more than that. There's more than that to it, isn't there? You might say the first thing that you'd wish for during a pandemic would be able to be free to move around, to travel around. And I think loads of people must be experiencing this now. They must be really quite desperate now to travel and to have that freedom of movement. And I suppose that's one thing, isn't it? We're all going to value that a lot more, to be able to come and go as we please and to travel, from one country to another, or even just from one city to another, and one part of your own country to another. But I think we will, we're going to value that freedom a lot more. But also the exact opposite of that. I think I have learned to appreciate my own company a lot more, and I've written a song about this on the album called Seagulls on a Frozen Lake. It's about the pull between these two states, between, you know, having the freedom to move around and to travel and to go and see people and have a social life, but also about the appeal of, you know, just being able to sit on your own for hours and hours and to have nothing to do but to, you know, to read and drink tea, you know, which is two of the great pleasures in life for me. And just the value of that, of some peace and quiet and some tranquility in your life. So maybe people will appreciate that more too. I mean, those are the positives, but obviously the devastating effect that it's had upon people's lives has been a terrible, terrible thing. And lastly, of course, upon the economy, although people are more important than any economy and more important than money.
So tell me, how does this song end? Let's wait patiently. So tell me, how does this song end?
We're always making future plans in Hepburns, and I think now more than ever, we'd love to release more records with Elephant. Of course, it's been a hugely enjoyable experience. It really has, working with Luis, who's been absolutely brilliant, and also with the rest of the team at Elephant as well. It's been great. And in that, I would include, you know, working with Jonas. That's been brilliant. Various other people, like the people who've made the videos with us, including Danny Koenka and Cyril Pooley Jean as well, who did the video for The Other Side of Grey, and Danny did the video for 5 Miles of Line. That's been brilliant. Of course, we'd love to carry on working with these great people. That would be fantastic. But it all comes down to songs with the Hepburns, and I write lots of them. I really do. I can't stop myself. So, believe it or not, in the time since we signed the contracts with Elephant, I've written 30 songs, and yeah, I would say that the majority of them, I would say this, wouldn't I, without being too vain again, the quality of those songs is pretty good. So I'd really love to be able to release another album. I want to carry on working with Stella. I'd like to do some other collaborations. I've talked to Jörn and Ole about working with them. I've even mentioned to Heiko Schneider from the Catherines, a possible collaboration there. But anyway, yeah, we have more future plans than we ever did in the past. And I am writing more songs than I ever did before. So we will have to see how it goes, but things are looking good, and they are looking better than ever.
Going on inside my head.
Hi, I'm Matt, the guitarist and singer from the Hepburns. The Hepburns are a band from Wales. We've currently got an album out on Elephant Records called Architecture of the Ages, which is a collaboration between ourselves and a brilliant Dutch singer called Estella Rosa. And I'd like to encourage you to listen to the album, to follow us on social media as well, on our Instagram page, which is the Hepburns Wales on Instagram, and also the Hepburns on Facebook. And if you go on there, we haven't got any gigs in Europe lined up at the moment, but as soon as we do, we'll post them on social media. So hello to everyone, and hopefully you'll enjoy the interview which I've done. So thank you very much for buying the album and following us on social media.